Hi friends, it's Deanna here today and I am super excited to be bringing you a cute and simple hack. I am actually going to be using one of our free patterns, the free adult PJ patterns, and I'm going to use the woven top to turn it into a button-up shirt dress. I'm super excited about this hack. I saw someone on our Facebook page do it and I just loved it, so I wanted to try it for myself. Now, there's a couple of things I'm going to do on here that are very experimental. Not a couple things. Let me get to it. Let me tell you what they are. All right, the thing is, there are a few options of how to create the look, but also I'm trying to figure out the best fit. Now, the adult PJ pattern is a loose, comfy fit pattern. It's not meant to be a fitted dress or anything like that. So that's why I'm trying to think what I want to do with this pattern. So there's a couple of options that I've thought of. Number one is I thought of maybe sizing down on my size so it's not as oversized, first of all. Number two, I thought of maybe doing grabbing the pattern and going in a little bit at the waist and coming right back out so it's a little bit slimmer here. Another option that I thought about was grabbing and just cutting up to the bodice and then doing a gathered piece for the bottom. So it's like a gathered dress that you can tie here and it's a little bit looser and gathered at the bottom. So those are different options that I've thought about. But when you're hacking a pattern or when you're making a new pattern you're not familiar with, you don't really know how it's going to fit, the best option always is to make like a mock-up. So make a first version with some fabric you already have in store, in storage in your house, some fabric you already have, and then tweak it from there. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So essentially this is part one of getting this perfect shirt dress, hopefully. So what I'm doing today is I am keeping the size medium, which is the size that I fit into, which is a little bit oversized. So I'm keeping that. I'm also only going to add length. That's all I'm doing. I'm going to add length and I'm going to do a sash tie to bring it in. I might, if it's a little bit loose, I might use a piece of elastic and attach it to the back to kind of gather it in at the back and suck it in a little bit to give it a better shape. But that's all I'm going to do. And actually when I go out the extra length, I'm not even going to add width because it is already oversized. So I think the width is going to be fine. Also, I don't have a ton of this fabric. This is fabric I've had for a while. So I need to make sure it fits in the fabric. Now, my thought process is if for some reason the dress version doesn't turn out, I can always cut it to a shirt top and just have a cute little jacket, which I do have a hack tutorial on how to turn this pattern into a jacket. So go check that out. But anyway, so I'm gonna get started and then hopefully we'll see how this version turns out and we'll go from there. And next time, maybe we'll do the gathered skirt version to create a different look from this really awesome free pattern. So I'm gonna start by cutting my fabric, and like I said, the only thing I'm doing different is I'm adding length. Now, you say how much length should I add? It just all depends on how long you want this dress to be. The shirt length is probably about hip area is how long it usually is. So I wanted to get like to the top of the knee is where I want it. So I do have quite a bit of length to go. So I think I'm going to do about 12 inches. So it will be pretty long. I don't know. I always am a little bit iffy on how much to add. So it's always best for you to add more and shorten it than to not add enough and then unless, you know, you can always add like a gathered ruffle at the bottom. It's up to you. So I'm going to add about 12 inches or so. And then if it's, I'll let you all know where the length is. So that way when you make it, you can skip all my mistakes. Okay, now that I've got all my pieces cut out, we're gonna start sewing, and I'm just going to sew this quickly because now I'm just following the same instructions of how this is sewn. If you want to see a more detailed version, we do have a sewing tutorial for this. Now, if you noticed, I did cut my, well, this is my front, but I did cut my back on the fold. I mean, not on the fold, because I didn't have enough fabric. So I am going to have a seam down the back of this, of the back, because of the fact that I didn't have enough fabric. But that's okay, because I'm kind of thinking that maybe I'll go in a little bit to give it a little bit more of a curved in look, but I'm not really sure where, so I might just go straight. Or if you can look at the pattern and decide where you think your back comes in, you might want to go in just a tiny bit to give it like that shape in the back. Or you can grab another of our Ellie and Mac patterns that is a dress style pattern that has a curved back, and it's cut this way. A lot of our jacket patterns have it because it fits better on the back. But like I said, this is just a loose fitting pattern, so that's why it doesn't have all those little details. So I'm gonna sew that together to become one piece. Then I'm gonna open it up. This is my back piece right here. It ends up being my back. I'm gonna open it up and sew those shoulders right sides together with my fronts. Now, make sure you're keeping in mind that this is the neck right here and this is your arm side. So you want to match up your arm side with your arm side, so that way it matches correctly and they're matching right sides together at the shoulders. Because this is a woven pattern, I'm using a straight stitch on my sewing machine, and then I'm going to finish the raw edge over on my serger. Next, we're going to attach our sleeves by opening the arm side and attaching them on right sides together. I'm gonna grab the sleeve and fold it in half and find the top. And I got a mark. I have a mark here where the back of the sleeve, so that goes towards the back. So I gotta make sure it's right sides together and match up the shoulders. Once again, I'm gonna sew with my sewing machine and then finish the raw edges with my serger. All right, next we sew up side seams, right sides together. An important part of sewing is steaming, and I haven't been doing that with this pattern, so we need to make sure that we give all the seams a good steam to help them look really nice and smooth. And while we have that here, we want to go ahead and fold the hem of the bottom of the dress. So I'm folding a 1/4 inch and then another 1/4 inch in. All right, we're gonna grab our collars and we're gonna put them right sides together and sew the longer edge and the sides. I'm also going to grab my facing and get it prepped. I ran out of my other fabric, so I've got to use this different fabric, which is fine. And I'm gonna put it right side up and I'm gonna match it with my back and sew it right sides together. Now I'm going to finish the outer raw edges of my facing. And we're going to cut the excess fabric off edges. Then I'm going to turn it and give it a good steam. All right, so for the facing, because we are adding buttons and buttonholes, we want to add some interfacing to that facing, so that way when we add the buttons or whatever, it is more reinforced. I did a horrible job cutting this interfacing, but it's okay. Hopefully you won't be able to see it once I sew it on. All right, now we're going to baste our color to our bodice. And this is the back bodice. I'm matching up that line right here with the backity back of the bodice. And we're going to the one side now. It's not going to go all the way over to the edge. So don't get upset or, you know, get worried if you get to that step and you have this gap here at the end. You're supposed to have that gap here at the end. You can go baste it, or you can, yeah, you should go baste it. But after you baste that down, I'm gonna grab my back collar and I'm gonna place it again in the middle, and then we're gonna go all the way around with this one right on top, or right sides together. So you're basically going to sandwich that collar between the bodice and the facing. The back facing should go to the shoulder seam. Those shoulder seams should match up. And then you're going to continue all the way down the front, all the way down. As you can see, these should match up. The front facing should match up with the front of your shirt. Now, as you can see, the facing is longer than my bodice. You're going to fold up your facing hem and even it out with your hem of your shirt before you sew the facing on. So now when you sew it, that will be folded up. Now that we're finished sewing that on, we're going to understitch it by folding this seam allowance towards the facing, and we're going to stitch it down all the way around so that it'll stay when you turn it around. Now you won't be able to get it like everywhere when you get up here to like the corners. It will be kind of hard to go all the way, so we're gonna go like right at the edge and stop, and then start back up here at the other side and understitch all the way around the collar and everything. You can leave that open because that's gonna be turned, so you want to be able to have that sharp turn, and then we can top stitch after right here around that edge. Another option is to just go ahead and turn it and just top stitch it, which I kind of like to do that sometimes as well. So if I'm gonna top stitch it, I might not understitch it, I'll just top stitch it. Understitching just keeps the stitching on the wrong side right here of the fabric, at the back side, the facing, so you don't see the stitching up front. But I actually kind of like the stitching. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and turn it here where the hem is too. I'm just gonna turn that and top stitch it right here where I already hemmed. You're just gonna top stitch it over that to close it, tucking that tail in as I do so, and top stitch, and then just top stitch all the way around. So I think I'm gonna do that instead. But first I'm going to give it a good steam. Turn it all around and give it a good steam. All right, one of the last steps is to hem our sleeve. I'm just doing a regular hem, but if you want to do a like a cuff or something like that, you can actually do a cuff, or you can go onto my video where I made a shacket and it shows you how to do like a shirt cuff. But I'm just doing simple on this one because, like I said, this is my trial run. So this is my let's do it quickly and see how it turns out version before I see what other things I want to change out of it. So I'm just doing a regular hem on this one. Now after we do this, all we've got left to do is to go ahead and put our buttons on. And like I said, this is my trial version, so I might just do like full buttons if I leave my collar open, or maybe just do a couple buttons on the top, or we'll see how it goes. And then try it on and see how it fits. Now I don't have very much fabric left, as you can tell. That's the reason why I used the different fabric for the collar. So I just got like thin little straps. So I'm going to use some of these thin straps to create a strap, and I'm probably just gonna sew them right sides together and have like one skinny strap to go around. So what I'll do is I'll attach them together at the raw edges like this to the long raw edge. Then I'll fold them wrong sides together, sew all the way around, leaving like a 2-inch gap, and then I'll turn it around through that gap to the right side, and that will be my strap that I'll use for my waistband. We'll cut the excess fabric and then turn it around. Okay, once it's all turned around, now we're just going to close that gap wherever we went. We're gonna find it, we're gonna close it, and my strap, here it is. We're gonna tuck in those edges and just close it however you want to close it. And I've got a strap ready out of scraps. So some pieces are a little bit wider than others. I could have made them all the same size, but I was just being lazy and I just went for it. But anyway, it's ready. And now we just need to put buttons on our top, on our dress. You could try it on first and figure out where you want to start your button at. If you want it to look more like a jacket, if you want it more closed up, or if you want it more open. I'm still really upset about the fact that I didn't have any extra fabric and I can see this different color. I don't love that. I could have done the first part of it this color, and maybe I should have just done the first part of my, with some scraps. Maybe I could even put some scraps over it eventually, kind of fold it over, and it'll be a lot to do so they wouldn't show. But I'm just a little bit annoyed about the fact that I didn't think about that. But it's gonna be okay. You let me know below what you think. If I should go ahead and go through the trouble of like matching up the fabric and then like top stitching it on or taking that off. I could remove this and redo it. What do you think? What would you do? All right, well, let me go ahead and put some buttons on, and then I'm gonna try it on and show it to you so you can see how this turned out. All right, friends, we are done with this dress. Now, I think it turned out super cute, but one thing I did not take into consideration is the fact that this fabric is a very thick fabric. So it kind of has more of like a coat dress look than a shirt dress. And that's okay with me, because the fact that I used this different color on the neckline, on the collar, I can actually kind of wear it more close like so, and it kind of looks more like a fancy coat dress. When I wear it, I probably will like put my hair up so it's kind of away from the collar. I think it turned out really, really good. So here's my takeaways. So I added about 12 inches of length, which as you can see is very long, so I probably didn't have to add 12 inches. So next time I'll probably add like 10, so shorten that up a couple of inches so it's above. Another thing I took away from this is use the same color fabric at least for the beginning of the collar. So like next time, at least if I don't have enough, at least I'll use enough for the top right here and then kind of sew it together for the rest of the part, because that's okay. Also, another thing is I like the sleeves how they are, so I had to do this length because I didn't have enough. But next time I probably will do cuffs for the sleeves, because I like the way that they look cuffed, which actually I could probably just like fold them up and do like some type of cuffed look where I just kind of sew them folded up, and I might just do that for this one. Also, another thing is one thing that I miss and I wish I would have done, so I'll do on next time, is pockets. On this one you can add side pockets because it's got a side seam. So next time I make it, I will be adding pockets because I think that would come in so handy with this. I think it would look super cute to be able to stick your hands in your pocket. Adorable. I might seam rip the sides and add some pockets on there. And then another thing is I do like it how, because it's oversized, I can kind of gather it here at the waistline and have a little bit of room. And it's a little bit bigger up here. It's good at the shoulders, but it's just a little bit baggier, which I like that. So I don't know, what do y'all think? If we should chop it and add more of a gathered look down here, so it gathers a little bit more, or if you think this is enough gathering. Again, this fabric is very, very thick, so that's the reason why it's like a thick flannel. So that's why it looks more like a coat than just a shirt dress. But I think with a lighter fabric, this will be really nice and really easy to wear. So we're gonna do a part 2, and you're gonna comment below and tell me what you think I should do. Do you think I should attach a different skirt that it's more gathered? Do you think I should try a different sleeve, maybe a flutter or maybe just a cuff? Do you think I should size down? And how much length do you think I should take off of the bottom? Probably a couple inches. Or should I do it longer so it's more of a midi length? What do y'all think? So please comment below so you can be part of the second part of this video, and comment, like, share, subscribe if you haven't, so you never miss any of our other tutorials. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time.